Hey, what's going on everyone? In this video, we've been doing a review of this Sony KDL70R550A 70-inch 1080p 3D LED Smart TV. And with most Sony devices, this one also has a very elegant design. The LED notification light on the front of the TV letting you know whether it's on or off is extremely small, but it's not a big deal. And while the TV is on, it consumes a maximum of 240 watts, and while off, it consumes 0.2 watts. At the bottom, there's a metallic bar holding the TV up. Even though it does look weak, believe me when I say this, it's actually quite strong. On the back left of the device, you have two HDMI ports and two USB ports. Now at the very back of the TV, at the top you have two more HDMI ports, and just below you have your component in ports. At the bottom left you have an optical audio output, and next to it you have an Ethernet port, which is your LAN internet connection. Of course, there's a wireless adapter built inside the TV, so you can actually have wireless internet. And next to it you have an audio digital output, and of course cable antenna port. The 3D glasses themselves are very comfortable to wear, even with prescription glasses like I am. And if you want to see an unboxing of the TV and the contents within the box, I'll leave a link to that video in the video description. So the TV itself has a 1080p screen with an edge LED backlighting, and of course it has 120Hz refresh rate. But I'm noticing that the refresh rate and smoothness is a lot better than compared to most other TVs with 120Hz refresh rate. This is most likely thanks to Sony's technology, which they call Motion Flow XR240. The TV itself is passive 3D, meaning that you actually get 3D glasses that are non-battery operated, similar to what you would get in the theaters. You just put them on and that's it. And of course it does have Bravia Sync, which allows you to have better communication between Bravia devices, which are also made by Sony. There is like a type of demo feature. What you're seeing right now is called photo frame mode. I'm actually turned off the volume due to YouTube copyright rules, but it just plays the calendar and some nice background music that actually comes built in the TV. The TV itself does support Dolby Digital with 5.1 channels, and in terms of audio built in this TV, it has two 10-watt speakers, and I can confirm that they're quite loud. With the stand, the TV weighs a total of 83.8 pounds, and of course the swivel, actually there is no swivel, so you can't rotate the TV, but considering that the viewing angles are great on this TV, I haven't had a problem with it thus far. Now when it comes to the general remote design, it's quite long and slender, and over the top you have the input selection, you have play, pause, stop, fast forward, all that other good stuff, a home button for accessing the smart features of the TV, a number pad, and of course at the bottom you have your generic volume and channel buttons. There's also a dedicated 3D button, which I'll be demonstrating for you guys later on. Now, as mentioned on the remote, you have the input button, which allows you to select a whole bunch of input selections like your HDMI and of course screen mirroring, which I'll get into later on. There's of course the home button, which allows you to access the smart features of the TV. And of course, if you go to settings, you have your very generic stuff I'm not going to get into, but this is where you can control the refresh rate, how smooth it is, audio, your network setup, and all that other good stuff. For those of you that are DirecTV customers, there's actually the option to access DirecTV without a receiver. So I'm going to go over picture quality, USB playback, and network playback all in one go. So if you press the home button and go to media, you can sort your media content through photo, music, and video. So we'll go to video. So what this basically allows me to do is access videos on that are shared through my home network. So as you can see, this is PCs connected. The unfortunate problem with playing back videos from a computer on your home network is that it only plays back videos shared through Windows Media Center. The problem with Windows Media Center is that it doesn't support and play back MKV files. So you can't play MKV files through your home network, unfortunately. However, the USB playback is a lot better though. In terms of picture quality, it plays back amazing picture quality, whether you're watching HD TV from, HD cable, or just, if you have a camera that's that good. The picture quality on this TV is outstanding, especially coupled with this amazing refresh rate. Now, picture quality, everything's fine. And if you want to know which file types are supported in terms of USB playback on this TV, I'll take a list taken from the official Sony website, and I'll put it in the video description. Just simply expand the video description, then you'll find a list of supported file types. However, what you'll notice in that listing of supported file types is MKV is not supported, but MKV does indeed play back. However, as you just saw now on the screen, it says audio format not supported. I noticed that this tends to happen with MKV files that are they have DTS audio built inside, or just some other files. Like this is a .mov file taken with my DSLR. It doesn't play back the audio, but the video just plays fine. So the USB playback is somewhat respectable, not the best, but pretty good for the most part. An important feature, because this is a 3D TV, what you can actually do is indeed change 2D content to 3D content. So here's a home video I'm playing. I simply press the 3D button on my remote, press 3D display, and I can change to simulated 3D. This will try to simulate and turn 2D content into 3D content. If you have a video that's side by side or over under, indeed you can change it to 3D as well. And I must say 2D to 3D conversion does an okay job. Sometimes you'll notice that the picture is flat like regular 2D, and in some cases like home videos taken from my wedding reception when people are dancing and the dance floor is flooded, I noticed that some people actually pop compared to others, so it depends on which type of video you're watching. And to give you a quick speaker demo, I'm just gonna put the volume up. So right now it's only at 20. It can actually reach a max of about 100. And what you're hearing right now is actually
oh man, the sun's out. Now it's getting hot.
Stuff from just that water fountain right there.
I know. It's weird.
So it's only a quarter volume, and the camera is about, I would say roughly, I don't know, 10 feet away from the TV. At a quarter volume, the TV speakers, I had to actually shout over it. For those of you who want to see Netflix in action, be sure to check out the video link below, and in that video link you'll see that I demonstrate a lot more smart app features available in this TV, as well as the 50-inch version, because as I mentioned before, the 50-inch and 70-inch version of this Sony TV series are the exact same thing. So I demonstrate Netflix and a whole bunch of apps, so be sure to check out that video. So the 3D Experience app is actually an app created by Sony. It allows you to play back just short clips, and all these clips are in 3D. They can vary depending on nature clips or movie trailers. Okay, so at this point what I'm actually doing is playing back a video review taken from my YouTube channel, and I can indeed confirm that it plays in HD. Of course, it depends on your internet connection. You know, if it's a bit slower, it'll play a bit blurry, but if you have a good internet connection, HD videos on YouTube will play back, and they are fantastically clear. While playing a YouTube video, the controls are relatively easy. You have your, play, pause. You can fast forward in 10-second intervals and whatnot, just as the basic commands. The general interface of the YouTube app itself is actually terrible. Playing videos and controlling it is okay, but the general interface of the YouTube lean back app, because this is what Google provides for YouTube TV experiences, is extremely slow and laggy. Despite having all the important sections like music and genres, the YouTube lean back app is a very, very slow, laggy experience. So if you want to do mirror casting, which basically allows you to wirelessly display exactly what's on your phone or tablet to the TV, you press the input button on the remote, it's like mirror cast, and this is the screen you get. Then you have to attempt to connect your tablet or phone to the TV, and this is what's happening. I'm trying to send my 2013 Nexus 7 mirror cast display onto the TV, and again, registration failed. I have attempted to do this with about 4 to 5 different devices, and the only one that actually works properly is the Sony Xperia ZL, which is quite unfortunate. This could probably be fixed with the software update, but there's yet to be one released from Sony. Okay, it's time to break down this review into its final score, and I'll give this TV an 8 out of 10, and here's why. The TV itself is 70 inches, which is fairly large, but it comes at a pretty respectable price. The TV itself is also surprisingly easy to assemble considering how huge it is. The TV has 120Hz refresh rate, but compared to the competition, it's a lot smoother than your typical 120Hz refresh rate TV. This is most likely due to the motion flow technology incorporated from Sony. Picture quality playback from videos and HD content is absolutely outstanding. In fact, some lower quality videos seem to be upconverted from the TV, and they play back even better than I've seen. As demonstrated, the TV outputs fairly decent volume. Considering it's a 70-inch and you should be sitting a fair distance back, the volume on it is pretty good. USB media playback is fairly good considering it's built into the TV. It's not the best considering it doesn't play all audio from video files, but it does a pretty respectable job for the average user. There are a decent amount of ports on the back of the TV, especially considering if you have a lot of HDMI devices to connect to the TV itself. 2D to 3D playback works better than I expected. As mentioned, there are some moments when you just have plain 2D video playing back because the TV doesn't know what to output as 3D, but it does a better job than I anticipated. 3D isn't too straining on the eyes. This is most likely due to the fact that it uses passive 3D technology. Watching videos that are 2.5 hours in 3D, no one in my family seems to get strained eyes. As you would expect from a Sony device, this TV is very sleek and well polished looking. There's of course, I didn't mention, an audio mode only. So if you have a music app you want to turn on but turn the screen off to save some power, you can actually play audio only and have the screen off. There are plenty of apps available, more than you expect on most media players. And lastly, because it is a passive 3D TV, it means that your 3D glasses do not require a power source, whereas active 3D glasses require that you recharge them constantly. Of course, this TV wasn't perfect and it came with a few cons. In fact, the pros and cons of this TV are the exact same as the 50-inch version of this TV. In fact, as mentioned earlier, you can find a link to that review of the 50-inch version in the video description. The cons is that it doesn't play MPO file formats, which is actually 3D files taken with a camera, picture 3D files to be exact. And ironic is that my Sony camera, which was purchased not too long ago, takes MPO files, 3D pictures, but this TV doesn't play them back, which I find ironic because it's a 3D TV. The UI itself is not the best looking. It's pretty simple. It wasn't a bad thing for me per se. I'm more about functionality. If it works great, I'm okay with that. But again, the UI itself is a little plain. And lastly, Mirrorcast does not work properly. As mentioned, I've tested it with about 4 to 5 different devices. It doesn't work except for the Sony Xperia ZL, which can actually be fixed with a software update, but Sony is yet to release that software update. So for the most part, it's one of the better 3D TVs available on the market, especially considering its price. I definitely think you should check it out. And that's my review. If you guys found this video useful, be sure to check out my Facebook, Google+, Twitter links in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.